China is indeed calling the shots when it comes to electric automobiles.
United States and China, a rivalry that is very familiar to global diplomacy.
Of the 19 cobalt mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo, 15 report to the Chinese government. Because of the Sickle Mines deal in 2007, Beijing became the leading producer of cobalt, a very important material for the future of transportation. This resource was previously renowned for aesthetic improvement, but now it promises to be an indispensable element for manufacturing electric vehicles. Combined with lithium and nickel, pollution of the environment caused by vehicles will reduce significantly. With more than 10 years ahead of the US, European Union, and other countries invested in the green movement, it is safe to say China is at the reins of the cobalt supply chain. Many countries now manufacture vehicles that run on electricity, facilitated by batteries or fuel cells, and in the past decade, the demand for EVs has increased significantly. Electric vehicles need batteries with a long cycle life and high energy. This is where batteries come in and why China stays on top of the electric vehicle game. Wait a minute, another key player is the Democratic Republic of Congo. These guys have diamonds, gold, coltan Congo, copper, and cobalt. 70% of the world's cobalt supply is from the DRC, most of which goes to China. Since the 1880s, China and the DRC have had fluid relations, so it does not come as a surprise when the two countries signed an agreement in 2007. The Chinese government and the Democratic Republic of Congo entered an agreement termed the Deal of the Century. This gave the Beijing authorities mining rights to the cobalt for which DRC is famous. It is called the Infrastructure Agreement because all the Chinese government had to do was build model infrastructures like schools, roads, and hospitals. An electric vehicle's battery makes up more than 40% of the total cost of the automobile. And since China owns 15 out of the 19 cobalt factories in Congo, the Beijing government automatically controls 78% of the cobalt supply. Statistics show that the market for electric vehicle batteries in China has risen from 43% to 60% in the last few years. From 2014 to 2020, the country has increased production by 17%. Batteries are very important for operating electric vehicles, of which China is on top. China manufactures 40% of electric motors globally, single-handedly more than the US or European Union accounts for. Even in the United Kingdom, the production of electric vehicles has increased by 74%, and, you guessed it, they and other manufacturers of electric vehicles may be forced to rely on China as the demand for green automobiles increase. Initially, it has been a global desire to reduce carbon emissions and other human activities that affect the environment and biodiversity. There have been subsidies to this effect to encourage consumers to invest in sustainable solutions such as electric vehicles. However, the last decade has seen a switch from the subsidies directed at consumers. Now manufacturers of electric vehicles can produce these automobiles at lower prices, thereby encouraging mass production. Tesla is a leading example, but even this company depends on China. China was among the first countries to deduce that the world would eventually need an alternate method of powering vehicles. The continual burning of fossil fuels would not attain sustainability goals. So the authoritarian government of China took over the manufacturing of essential components of the electric vehicles, the batteries. Their access to the raw materials for manufacturing batteries enhances their self-sufficient ability to single-handedly produce electric car batteries for the world. There are speculations that this monopolization of EV batteries may not end well, especially if China and the United States impose tariffs on each other. Imagine how prices would skyrocket. The Chinese government controls about 3/4 of the raw materials required for electric vehicle batteries. Manufacturers of electric automobiles rely on China to export these supplies. So what happens when there is a conflict between them? For instance, things have not always been smooth between the Chinese authoritarian government and the United States. And now that sustainability is of the essence, can China lord its edge over the US? Don't get it twisted. It's not that China has natural supplies of lithium, cobalt, and nickel. No. Instead, the government created a situation where the DRC and other sustainability-inclined countries would rely on them for the refinery of these materials. It has become impossible to manufacture many automobiles that run on electricity without bringing China into the picture. The unchallenged control of the market for raw materials used in manufacturing electric batteries puts China tightly at the fore of the supply chain. And if you recollect, the manufacture of automobile vehicles that run on electricity is fast rising. Experts predict that the world may witness a demand that grows by 8 times. If China were to single-handedly decide to increase the costs of selling these batteries, there would be little that can be done to challenge the government. Some 10 years ago, the Chinese government saw the need to dominate the battery production market, and it did. The country had the resources for it and acted accordingly. However, China is not above using its supply chain to its advantage, perhaps as an economic weapon. It has been done before, which is the fear of those analyzing the electric automobile market. Additionally, it is no secret that peace is a fragile concept between the United States and the Chinese government. If these countries were to get into a conflict, or if China simply decided to increase its prices, what would be the fate of the United States? With this in mind, manufacturers of batteries that work with electric vehicles are encouraged to come forth. For instance, Mitra Chem is one such company. They are actively trying to create a new supply chain to prevent China's market domination. But it will not be easy, considering that China has been at the fore of manufacturing these batteries for a decade. They have cheap labor, experience, and the advantage of scale. Additionally, China is not above putting its economy above the environmental needs if it would help achieve the desired goal. These are not the only problems emerging manufacturers of automobile batteries must face. Subsidies must also be introduced to make manufacturing these batteries worth it. So, the real question is how far the United States and other companies that need these services are willing to go. Are they ready to pay the price that prevents China from remaining the monopolistic producer of batteries for electric vehicles? But wait, Capitol Hill is not holding hands and waiting for China to dominate this market altogether. Instead, there are plans to dedicate billions of dollars toward creating a domestic supply chain. The world must move to automobiles that run on electricity. That is the safer alternative. However, the plan by Capitol Hill will take time. It took China a decade to become the monopolistic supplier of these batteries. So how long would it take the United States? And is it enough to keep fingers crossed until then? There is more to come. Speculators and actors are waiting for China to make its first significant move as the primary supplier. Please like and drop a comment to show your support. And you should subscribe for more premium content if you already haven't.